All right, let's dive into one of the all-time greats, Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. This isn't just a crime story, it's a deep, dark, psychological journey into the mind of a man who commits murder not for money, but to prove a point. We're about to explore the darkest corners of the human soul and the long, painful search for redemption.
So, let me ask you something right off the bat. Is it ever okay to do something truly awful if you think it's for a greater good? This is the exact question that absolutely haunts our main character and drives this entire incredible novel. It's a tough one, right? Keep that question in your mind as we go.
So where does a crime like this even begin? Well, Dostoevsky tells us it doesn't start with an axe. It starts with an idea, a really powerful, dangerous theory, taking root in the mind of a brilliant but very desperate young man.
Meet our guy, Radion Raskolnikov. He's a gifted former law student, but he's flat broke, living in this tiny, coffin-like room in the slums of St. Petersburg. And it's in this suffocating, lonely space that his pride and his poverty mix together to create a really dangerous cocktail of ideas.
At the absolute core of all his turmoil is what you could call his Superman theory. He's cooked up this belief that all of humanity is basically split into two completely different types of people. And this idea, well, it becomes his justification for murder.
Okay, so here's how he breaks it down. On one side, you've got the ordinary people, the masses. They have to follow the rules, no questions asked. But then there are the extraordinary people. Think Napoleon. Raskolnikov believes these rare individuals have a right to step over any line, even commit murder, if it's for some higher purpose. And the big burning question that's tearing him apart is, which one am I?
And so, his theory is about to be put to the ultimate test. This is the moment an abstract idea crashes into a brutal, bloody reality.
The crime itself plays out in two absolutely horrifying acts. First, there's the planned murder. Raskolnikov takes an axe and kills an old pawnbroker, a woman he sees as a worthless parasite. But then, the plan goes horribly wrong. Her gentle, innocent sister, Lizaveta, walks in, and, in a panic, he's forced to kill her too.
And here is the ultimate irony, the thing that tells you everything you need to know. He does steal a few things, but he panics and hides them away, never to be used. See, this was never about the money. It was a philosophical experiment, and by being immediately tormented by his conscience, he proves he's not the cold Superman he thought he was. He failed the test, and his real punishment is just beginning. And that failure throws us right into the heart of the novel, because the real punishment isn't a prison cell. It's not a judge's sentence. It's the inescapable prison of his own mind.
Now, you really can't understand Raskolnikov without understanding the city he lives in. Dostoevsky's St. Petersburg is practically a character itself. It's hot, it's crowded, it's suffocating, filled with desperation and alcoholism. It's also a place where these radical new Western ideas like nihilism are spreading like wildfire, telling young people that the old rules just don't apply anymore. The city isn't just a backdrop, it feels like a co-conspirator in the crime.
The second the murders are over, Raskolnikov's body and mind just break. He collapses into this awful state of fever, delirium, and crippling paranoia. He's completely haunted by what he's done, terrified that every single person knows his secret, and totally cut off from humanity.
And get this, Dostoevsky even gives us a clue right in his name. Raskol is the Russian word for a split or a schism. And that is Raskolnikov in a nutshell. He is completely split in two, torn between his cold, arrogant intellect that can justify murder and his natural human compassion that makes him suffer for it.
As if his own mind wasn't enough of a prison, in walks the investigator, Porfiry Petrovich. Now, Porfiry doesn't have any real evidence, so he plays his brilliant psychological game. He circles Raskolnikov, dropping hints, applying pressure, turning their conversations into this incredibly tense cat-and-mouse game that pushes Raskolnikov right to the edge.
But this isn't just a bleak story about a man falling apart. Dostoevsky offers a counterpoint to all this darkness, a possible way out, a path toward redemption. And that path is Sonia. She's a young woman who's been forced into prostitution to feed her family. She has every single reason to be broken and cynical. But instead, she embodies this pure, unconditional faith and selfless love. She is the spiritual opposite of Raskolnikov's intellectual pride. The real turning point comes in this incredible scene where Sonia reads him the biblical story of Lazarus, the man Jesus raised from the dead. And for the first time, Raskolnikov, who is spiritually dead himself, starts to believe that maybe, just maybe, his own resurrection is possible. Guided by Sonia's strength, he finally takes the first steps. He confesses his crime to her, and at her urging, he turns himself into the police. He's sentenced to 8 years of hard labor in Siberia, and it's there, with Sonia, who follows him, that the slow, painful process of his spiritual renewal actually begins.
So to quickly recap the key players in this whole moral drama, you've got Raskolnikov, the torn intellectual, Sonia, the saintly spiritual guide, Porfiry, the clever voice of justice, and then there's this dark character, Svidrigailov, who sort of represents what Raskolnikov could have become, a man who breaks all the rules without any guilt and finds absolutely no redemption.
And so we're left with this massive question at the end. What the novel seems to suggest is that the legal sentence, the 8 years in Siberia, is almost an afterthought. The real punishment, the true hell, is the prison of your own conscience. So what do you think? What's more powerful, the judgment of the world or the judgment you pass on yourself?